Is that what we heard? Fantastic.
We'll bring a tuba next time.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. That was great.
That was wonderful.
That was fun. That's the most exciting thing this whole evening. I move to adjourn. Let's open in our usual ways. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I think we have Joe Edwards, our Quaker representative, is going to say a prayer for us tonight. So will you please rise?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the freedom of public assembly, of public observation of the things that we, your elected officials, do. We ask that you bring blessings to this assembly. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Ake, your meeting, sir.
Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Thank you very much. There is one change to the agenda. Resolution 17-114 will not be heard tonight. We're referring that for further study and discussion. And so if you please make note of that on your agenda. Moving on, approval of the City Council minutes of March 13th, 2017. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
All right, moved by Mr. Edwards and second by Rob Horkey. All those in favor of approving minutes as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Before you, you've had a chance to review the claims, and that needs to be approved as well. Could I have a motion to approve claims, please?
Move to approve claims of March 27th.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think Cindy beat out Joe. She beat me. Thank you, Ms. Biljaric. All those in favor of approving claims as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Claims are approved. And we'll move on to new business since we don't have any old business. And under new business, tonight we have Resolution 17107, amendment to Resolution 17100 for a real property tax abatement at 16460 South Park Drive. Amanda, welcome.
Good evening, President and members of the council. For the record, my name is Amanda Rebedu with the Economic and Community Development Department. On January 9th of this year, council approved Resolution 17-100, a 10-year real property abatement for Derringer Buildings for a proposed $4 million, 50,000 square foot new pro containers distribution center on 3.7 acres, referred to as Lot 6 on the south side of South Park Drive. Due to some logistical issues, the petitioner will not be able to construct the facility on Lot 6. The petitioner has now proposed the 50,000 square foot facility to be constructed on 3.4 acres just to the north of the previously mentioned parcel shown here. Due to this change, the petitioner has requested the previously approved 10-year real property abatement to be replaced with Resolution 17-107 that would reflect the current 3.acre site. The proposed employment and salary estimates remain the same as the previously approved resolution. Jeremy Derringer with New Pro Containers is here to give you an update on his company and is available to answer any questions council may have, as am I, if you have any questions of staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks for having me back for round two. Appreciate it. The issue that actually came up in a little bit more detail was the lot that we had negotiated on the outside buffered up to residential properties, and we did not realize that there was a specific height limit of 25 feet on that property until our architects identified that. The inside clear height of our distribution center is 28 feet, so the overall building height might be around 33 feet. which would exceed that limitation. And instead of going through the process and waiting to see if we could get some kind of variance, we decided to go ahead and scrap that deal and look for new property, which is just north of it here. And again, we're a distribution business. We are in the business of selling plant containers to companies that install and maintain live plants in hotels, malls, office buildings, and we've been expanding into exterior containers, so think commercial planters, very large products that are out in the market. And so far, year to date, we're up 50% year over year, and I think that's pretty good for a company that's been around since '89. So we're seeing a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth right now. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping this facility is big enough for us for the foreseeable future, actually, from what we've seen this year so far. Like I said, thanks again for having
Very
us.
good. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, my name's Jeremy Derringer, and I am actually a resident of Westfield at 21477 Anthony Road. So just not too far north of this, right next to the Aurora development that's going to be coming up.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the petitioner?
This is a 10-year abatement? Is that what it is?
And we're relocating the project from Zionsville.
Very nice. Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 17-107.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Cindy Spoljarek and a second by Steve Hoover. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor of granting the resolution and approving the abatement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the resolution 17107 passes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. Welcome. Yes. Next up, we have Resolution 17109, transfer of funds to the Facade Improvement Grant Program of the City of Westfield. I think Amanda is going to introduce this. I think, Joe, you might have some comments on this.
I'll follow.
All right, very good. Thank you, Amanda.
Yep, good evening. Again, for the record, my name is Amanda Rebedu with the Economic and Community Development Department. At our most recent Facade Improvement Grant Committee, the group identified a likely shortfall in the grant fund for 2017. And in speaking with Councilman Edwards, the council's representative to the committee, the group thought that we should bring this item to the attention of council and also provide an update so the council can appreciate how the funds have been invested in the community. So as you know, this program was established in 2011 with an appropriation from council's budget of $50,000 to provide assistance to local business owners refurbishing the exteriors of their businesses and increase the overall beauty of our downtown area. To date, the program has assisted 14 local projects, and we currently have one project in process. This is the, flip back to the previous slide for me. This is the before and afters of Guaranteed Rate, which is located on State Road 32. This was completed in 2016. $53,249 has been granted to local business owners for improvements such as repainting, new windows, sign replacement, parking lot improvements. These before and afters are of the outdoor seating area at the Rail Epicurean Market completed last summer. The city has not only benefited visually from the implementation of this grant, but also has seen an investment of $167,388 put into our downtown with an estimated $6,757 additional expected within the next 6 months. The program is designed to be a 50-50 match, but in actuality, for every dollar of public investment from the grant fund, $2.14 has been invested by the private sector. So the proposed resolution 17-109 would allow $6,627 to be transferred into the Facade Improvement Grant Program, bringing the total fund up to $10,000 for 2017. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have about the program. Thank you.
Our last grant recipient was the My Father's Garden Inside Out Wellness. And it is located, what's the address, Amanda?
Southwest corner of Jersey and Mill. How's that?
It's kind of in the growing district now. And so I would propose that we do this. I think it's not a real expensive program, and we get a good return on our investment. So I would be a proponent of this program and adding the $6,600 that we need to fund it for 2017.
All right. Would you make that motion, Joe?
I'll make that motion, yes.
All right. We have a motion for 17109 to transfer funds. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Horke seconds, and this is up for adoption. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. I'd ask voice vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 17109, transfer of funds to the facade program, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. The next two items are together. We must take them in order. So Amanda will talk to both here, and then we'll vote on each item separate. So thank you once again, Ms. Robidoux.
Again, for the record, my name is Amanda Rebidoux with the Economic and Community Development Department. I will be presenting the next two items together. Both are a requirement for the proposed real property tax abatement as requested by Shelby Gravel Incorporated. Resolution 17-110 is a confirmatory resolution that establishes the economic revitalization area that was approved at your February 27th meeting by declaratory resolution 17105. This item is scheduled for a public hearing this evening. The second item, resolution 17-111, is the actual tax abatement granting document for the project that was outlined for you at your February 27th meeting as well. In summary, resolution 17-110 requires a public hearing and must be adopted prior to the adoption of resolution 17-111. Representing the petitioner, Randy Zentz, is here to answer any questions that you may have, and staff is available as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. This time, Randy, would you like to say a few words?
Randy Zen, Sense Consulting, 958 Brightbeam Court, Westfield, Indiana. I had previously gone through some things last time. I'd given you guys pretty much most of the facts, but I'd be happy to review that again if you would like me to do that. I don't want to bore you and take your time, but if you'd like, I can go over. Current jobs with this company that would be retained is 16, salaries of approximately $860,000 a year. New jobs that we're anticipating when we get up to full capacity and production would be an additional 10 to 12 jobs, salaries in about the $650,000 range. Hopefully the development will, put some jobs in an area that doesn't have a whole lot of jobs. I don't know if it will create even more in that area, but certainly some secondary jobs out there, some mechanics coming by, some different people to do landscape work and different things in the area. Shelby Materials has been a proponent of Westfield and has proven themselves as a great corporate citizen, so we're just asking for your support in this petitioner's request.
Okay, thank you. This does require a public hearing tonight, so I'd like to open the public hearing at 7:18. Is there, do we have any cards or anybody wish to speak to this?
I have no cards.
Is anybody in the audience, would they care to address this time? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:18. Council, is there any discussion? This is up for adoption consideration tonight. Hearing none, could I would entertain a motion for resolution 17-110.
Move to approve resolution 17-110.
Second.
Okay, Steve Hoover, and a second by Joe Edwards. Again, we'll vote by voice. All those in favor of passing resolution 17-110, the establishment of an economic revitalization area at Mule Barn, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none. Motion passes. We also have an opportunity to pass Resolution 111, which is related to the above issue and involves an abatement. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I would call for a motion.
Move to approve Resolution 17-111, the real property abatement for Mule Barn Road.
Mr. Orque made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to give it to Joe Edwards this time. Thank you, Joe. All those in favor of approving the real property abatement on Mule Barn Road for Resolution 17, that goes with 17-111, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 112 and Resolution 113. Both are related and very similar to what we just took action on. Mr. Matt Skelton will be presenting tonight.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. Matt Skelton for the record. These next two items are related, similar to what you just did. The first one requires a public hearing. Second is the actual abatement document. The 17-112 is the confirmatory resolution. It's confirming what the resolution that was enacted at your previous meeting. And then the next one is the abatement request. This is, unlike the previous one, this is a 3-year tax abatement, a much shorter term. I think members of the Schellinger Group are here. I know Chad Sweeney, the representative for the group, is here if you have any questions for them.
All right. Thank you. Again, this is a reuse of a property that's been vacant, and we need to establish the economic revitalization area. Are there any questions for the petitioner? I'd entertain a motion.
Right after the public hearing.
Oh, that's right, we have to have a public hearing on that, sorry. I'd like to open the public hearing at this time. I'll open the public hearing at 7:22. Do we have any cards?
We do not.
Would anybody in the public like to comment? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:23. Thank you. This time, is there any, I'd call for a motion.
Move to approve Resolution 17-112, the confirming establishment of the economic revitalization area for 17819 Commerce Drive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Bob Horke made a motion, Steve Hoover seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I would entertain a voice vote. All those in favor of passing Resolution 17-112, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Resolution 17-113, dealing with the same piece of property and the abatement request that you heard. Is there, I'd entertain a motion.
Before we do that, how much abatement are they asking?
This is a 3-year abatement.
3-year abatement for, and that's on real property, as it says.
It is, and I can tell you exactly what the number is. Hold on. The benefit conferred over that 3-year period is a little over $41,000.
What's the proposed business?
Would you like to? Chad Sweeney with Genovis.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Again, Chad Sweeney with Genovis. We're a site selection firm. We represent the company. Des Schellinger, the president of the company, is also here in attendance this evening as well. The company's involved in engineering and selling. They represent manufacturers of electronic components. They help them sell those components into finished products by providing sales and engineering and other support to those companies. So the project, they've acquired this facility, would plan to improve it by investing, I believe, about $375,000 in the facility and relocating operations they have in Kokomo here to Westfield. And it would result in about 14 new employment positions, a very high-skilled, high-wage, an average of about $80,000 per year before benefits.
Is there going to be actual manufacturing there?
I do not believe so, no. It's just the sales and maybe some warehousing? Yeah, sales and warehousing.
Just wanted to know that wasn't a dog track or something like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other discussion? All right. I don't think we have a motion. Would you care to make it?
I will. So I move that we approve the real property tax abatement for 17819 Commerce Drive.
All right, thank you. Second?
Second.
Oh, Jorge made it in there. Thank you both. At this time, I call for a voice vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 17113 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 17114 was a change. So we'll move on to ordinance 1710, Unified Development Ordinance, presented by Jesse Pullman.
Good evening, President, members of the council. For the record, Jesse Pullman with On Point Land Matters, presenting this evening on behalf of the Economic and Community Development Department for an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance. As you may recall, when the UDO was adopted back in September of 2014, the department anticipated that there may be annual patch ordinances in the ongoing maintenance of the Unified Development Ordinance. The last patch ordinance that was adopted was back in May of 2015. So over the course of the last year and a half, the department's identified a handful of other issues which this amendment ordinance is intended to address. For efficiency purposes, I won't go into the specifics of the ordinance, except to generally note that there are minor items that are in there that are outlined in detail in the staff report. There are three notable ones I want to point out for you tonight, though. The first is removing the public hearing requirement for detailed development plan. As you may recall, the development plan under the prior ordinance was a one-step process. Under the UDO, that was divided into two separate stages. The first was the overall development plan, which dealt with the overall development, predominantly shared infrastructure. And then the second stage, the detailed development plan, is really the zoning and site plan and building permit review for that individual site. So the ordinance is proposing to remove the public hearing requirement. The detailed development plan would still be approved by the Plan Commission at a public hearing, at a public meeting, but the public hearing will be limited to the overall development plan, not the detailed development plan. The second item is addressing more intense agricultural uses. As a result of residents in our AGS of 1 district, there have been a handful of agricultural uses that have come up recently that are really more intense in nature, that are more in line with what our UDO calls agricultural processing uses. So the amendment changes some of those more intense uses from agricultural uses as defined by the ordinance, which are agricultural district uses, and it moves them into our agricultural processing definition, which are limited to our industrial districts.
Jesse, could you describe some of those?
So predominantly an example use is an aquaculture use or a confined feeding operation use. So those are the types of uses that are not in line with what might be assumed as more family agricultural operations that are really more heavily commercial or heavily industrial in nature.
The CFOs are ruled upon by the state, I believe, aren't they?
They are regulated by the state, and we really don't have that pressure in our community, if not just for the sheer issue of land prices. But that's just one of those uses that we're taking the opportunity to make sure that it is clearly defined by our ordinance. And then the last item I'll highlight for you is the creation of a definition for self-storage facilities. Historically, that has fallen under our light industrial use classification, but there's always been the question for how it's defined and how it's permitted in our ordinance. And so we're proposing to specifically define it and then assign it to which zoning districts it is to be permitted in. We've proposed in the amendment ordinance that it would be permitted in the industrial districts and then the general business district, but then specifically prohibited within the 31 and 32 overlays. So with that being said, this ordinance was reviewed by the council's Committee on Ordinance Revisions. It's scheduled for a public hearing on April 3rd at the Plan Commission meeting, which is next Monday. So if you have any questions of me, I'm happy to answer those this evening. Otherwise, it is possible that this could be back in front of you again for your consideration at your April 24th meeting.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. All right, this is an introduction. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll move it on to the Plan Commission then. Thank you, Jesse. Ordinance 1712, City of Westfield to amend Westfield Ordinance 1406. Matt, you and I have had some discussions about this.
Would you like to explain how this came about?
You can, well, we had a special request from WYSI for a special exception to our food truck ordinance. This would allow a food truck ordinance at an infrequent occurrence of baseball diamond sports at both Monon Trails and Maple Springs.
And just for the record, though, I think
Shamrock Springs.
Monon Trails was omitted from this draft. So if you want to amend this, if that is to, I thought that might have been because you suggested it be that way. But so there's the last two items on Exhibit A of the ordinance.
So it just adds these uses to what we have in Exhibit
Yes,
A. So
yeah.
it's an amendment to that document.
But if it is the council's intent to also accommodate WYSI at Monon Trails, then it needs to be added.
The background is that they would use this probably not more than 6 times a year, for 6 days on a Saturday in the spring and fall when they have tournaments. And that it's not enough for them to open up a concession stand at Shamrock Springs. And so this would help them. It won't interfere or impact our brick and mortar operations. And so my recommendation would be to permit this special use and have it codified in our ordinance so they don't have to come to us as a special exception each time. And with the limited amount of use, again, I don't think it impacts anybody. So I would suggest that we also include Monon Trails.
And the other item on the list being proposed to be added is the Summer Smiles event, which you've approved a couple of times before. And we thought since we're just in here already, we might as well just deal with that one proactively.
And that's a one time a year event as well. So,
Can I get something else clarified while we're discussing this?
Sure.
So the school district hosted events, would a PTO event that was hosted, so it's not necessarily the school, but affiliated with the schools, is that something that's included?
I can tell you probably it's included, but practically speaking, nobody's probably going to go out there and stop them unless the intention is to out-compete people who have invested in real estate. I mean, that's really what the purpose of this ordinance is to, and I don't think that that's what they're doing.
Okay.
okay, so would anybody care to make a motion, please?
So what I heard was that we do want to include Monon Trail in addition to Shamrock Springs.
Yes. That's my recommendation.
Okay. So I make a motion that we approve ordinance 17-12 and that we include an additional bullet item or add to the WYSI Diamond Sports at Shamrock Springs and also include Monon Trail.
I'll second.
Jack Lehman seconds. Any further discussion? All those we'll call the roll on this one. So,
Yes.
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 yes. very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Cindy, Brian's going to make that, are you going to make that change for tonight? Okay. So you'll get an updated one for signatures for this last one.
All right, at this time, residents who wish to address the council on items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Matthew, do we have any cards?
No, we do not.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to address the council at this time? Hearing or seeing none, we will move on to council comments. And Steve, do you have anything from APC?
Last Monday, Advisory Plan Commission met and took several actions. The Belmont Woods subdivision on Cary Road had the secondary plat and the development plan, overall development plan approved. The Woodwind Plan Unit Development was continued to the April 17th meeting. We had public hearings on Chatham Commons Planned Unit Development and the Chatham Commons Overall Development Plan and secondary plat. We also had a public hearing on a development plan for Shelby Gravel on Mule Barn Road. That was it.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments?
I do. Just to remind anybody, we have our second counselor connection tomorrow at Oak Trace with Steve Hoover and myself, 7 o'clock to 8:30. Jim will not be able to attend. He's got weekend, so that's also tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. That's
Busy
it.
night.
Yep.
I believe Mr. Lehman is going to try to attend that with us
Good.
in Jim's absence.
Thanks, Chuck.
And I'd just like to comment last week, may or may say something, but we had the Boy Scout breakfast at Bridgewater, Mayor's Boy Scout Annual Breakfast, which was very successful, so. Anyway, that's all I have.
We raised a record $41,000, so I was very proud of our city. It was great. Some things coming up. We have this Friday evening, we have a Westfield Fire is swearing in 2 new firefighters and a firefighter paramedic. Open to the public, Oak Trace School, 6 p.m. Also, let's see, on April 22nd is our annual Westfield Parks annual tree seedling giveaway at Asa Bales, 9 a.m. April 22, and Donna Scheidley, our state representative on the east side of Westfield, has donated 100 trees to be given away, and those always go very quickly. There isn't much left. They go, yeah, it happens quickly. A week or two ago in this room, we held a kind of a public town meeting on the proposed State Road 32 improvement project through downtown Westfield. And I say proposed because it's our proposal. It is not NDOT's adopted proposal, and seeing how they own that road, not us. If we want to have this happen, NDOT has a period coming up for public comment. They'll have some public meetings that they're listening to all of the Greenfield District areas as to what projects need to be put into their long-term plans, which the next step would be for the citizens and all of we elected officials in Westfield to step forth. We'll put out some more contact information at the appropriate time on who we should contact and what meetings we should attend. So we'd really appreciate the public and our elected official support on that. Last Saturday, WYSI had a pancake breakfast out at Shamrock, in addition to the ribbon cutting on their new batting cages there that Hiddle landscaping donated graciously to WYSI. Good turnout there. And one of my favorite events of the year is coming up on April 12th, and it is the Westfield's now annual Youth Assistant Breakfast, and that will be at the Emmy Building on East Street. Starts at 7 a.m. It is a fundraiser, but the fun part about it is that these are probably a dozen or so kids. They're not necessarily kids that have gone through youth assistance at all, but these kids have been nominated by their teachers or their principal because it's kindergarten through whatever, high school. These kids have overcome some difficulty in their life that they have worked hard to overcome, and many of these kids end up giving back to their fellow students. There's just some heart-wrenching stories you hear, and it's fun because the teachers interview them and kind of get out of them the best they can. What happened and how did you do this? And it's really heartwarming to hear. So that's it.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I enter a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Stand adjourned. Thank you.